This is BNN, the Bennington News Network.
Okay, I would like to introduce now the governor of our great state of Vermont. We're so pleased he came down to meet with us tonight.
Thank you so much, Susan. Let's give it up to Bennington College for hosting us time after time and again tonight. And I just have to say a word about Bennington College. They're not only hosting all of us here where it matters, but to my hard-working team that's down here day and night, they're putting them up. They have better accommodations here than they have at home. And we've just got to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all that Bennington College is doing, not only for this community, but for my team. Senator Sears and Campion have texted me 14 times on the way down to say that they are really sorry they're not here. They're on the floor late into the night tonight. And obviously they're with you, as well as your House members who are working hard into the night trying to get bills out because of crossover. So to all the reps that would be here, they obviously are with you all the way. I also just want to say a brief word about my team. Commissioner Alyssa Shuren hasn't been home in a long time, I know, because I saw her husband today. But to Alyssa and Chuck and Tracy and Richard, as you know, Richard's been going door to door. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You are an extraordinary team. Listen, I just want to say to all of you, as we announce some of the results that we're getting back, we have promised you a transparent process and to be your partners in getting through what we know is causing tremendous pain, tragedy, anxiety, and we're in this together. I spoke today with the CEO of the company that we believe the pollution is coming from, Saint-Gobain, and I spoke with Tom Kamensky. As you know, Ed Canning, who I also spoke with, who handles their environmental stuff. I just want you to know that unlike situations that governors often find themselves in these situations where the company is running from you and fighting you, they have been extraordinarily cooperative so far. They want to help us to get to the bottom of this. And I want to say thank you to them for going into this in the spirit of the way we do things in Vermont, which is trying to work together to solve the problem. And I'm pleased to tell you that they're going to continue to partner with us as we test soil, as we test water, as we do everything we need to do to figure out where the problems are and how we do the best we can to remedy them. I also just want to say a word about all of you. This is what's happening to my team when they're out there day and night, talking to the folks in North Bennington, knocking on doors and meeting folks. This is so typical of why we all live in Vermont. Despite the anxiety that we're all feeling, and the question marks, and the emotions, and the fear, more often than not, the first question that folks are saying to my team when we knock on a door is, thank you for that information. What about my neighbor? What about my neighbor? How are they doing? We've got folks making sandwiches for our team when they come through, feeding them, giving them coffee, taking care of them. And my point is, the way that you all are taking care of each other is why I am so proud to be your governor. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. As you know, we originally, in our 1.5-mile radius that you see up on the map here, tested 190 wells, private wells. And in that 1.5-mile radius, as of today, we have back 134 results. Of those results, 94 of the private wells tested with levels of PFOA that are above the 20 parts per trillion that are the Vermont standard and the part that we feel are safe. So to give you the most recent results, of those results, the range in those positive tests vary from 32 parts per trillion at the low end to 2,730 parts per trillion at the high end. 7 samples detected levels below that 20 trillion threshold. As you probably know, Vermont has a lower threshold than our neighbors. It's much lower than the federal government, but we do it for the right reasons. 32 samples came back clean. There was no PFOA in 32 of the samples that we got back today and over the last couple of days. So, as a result of what we've discovered, we are now going to let me say a word about the folks who came back with positive. Obviously, we're knocking on your doors telling you about that. We started today. We expect that we should be able to get to all of the doors by tomorrow or maybe a little bit into Friday. We're literally out knocking on doors, as you know, from first thing in the morning till we stop about 9 o'clock at night. And, we obviously are there to answer questions, to get you on bottled water, to let you know where the clean water is, and for the short term, and obviously to get a mitigation plan in place as fast as we can, filtration systems, so that we can get you on to clean water. Because of the testing that's come back, and I'm just going to show you the expanded area, you can see that we, for obvious reasons, have expanded the 1.5 mile radius for additional testing immediately to the 2 areas kind of on the New York line. One is up on Emmons Road, the Emmons Road area, and the other on the New York line is kind of between McCulloch and Harrington Road, Harrington Road, where they meet just beyond that. So you can see the obvious 2 areas were the areas that we left out because it was a circle closest to the New York line. The other area that we're going to do some additional testing is down the southeast corner, as you can see, on Silk Road area, where, as you can see, there has been some discoveries in that area that has led us to believe that we should continue to expand that. We'll get those test results, we'll get that testing done as quickly as we can, and obviously get results to folks as quickly as we possibly can. So those will be the next areas that we look at most carefully and closely. We are also, as you know, testing soils in the area. We are taking 100 soil samplings in 25 different locations. Obviously, we're going to the areas of most concern, schools, daycares, centers where there's a lot of kids, or other areas that we should all be concerned about. But we're just doing some random testing in 25 locations, and we should have those results. As soon as we have those results back in terms of soil, obviously we'll get you that information. As we expand the radius, we recommend that folks in the radius immediately move to bottled water until we get back the results. And as you know the locations where we have bottled water, but just for the interim, we recommend that you stop drinking and cooking with the water until we figure out whether those additional areas are contaminated. I'm going to turn it over now to Commissioner Shumlin. Then we're going to hear from Chuck Schwer, Tracy Dolan, who's here for the Department of Health. She's the Deputy Commissioner. And then Richard Spees will talk a little bit more about the testing of soils. And then what we really want to do is answer your questions in every way that we know how. So I'll turn it over now to Commissioner Alyssa Shumlin, and thank you for your patience.
This is BNN, the Bennington News Network.